Alright everybody, this is the Fusion Lagoon 25 gallon here, and we have a huge problem. So I love the Rockscape in this tank. Unfortunately, the Rockscape means that the water flow just crashes down on the brain corals, and they're LPS, they're really soft and fleshy, so unfortunately that means that the water flow in there is just a little too much for them. I mean, look at this guy in the bottom right. This is like the number one offender for being too squishy to handle the tank. Like, literally, my dude turned into a skateboard ramp. Like, what in the world? Anyways, you can see the Signorina right behind him is doing fantastic. The water flow, literally the first like 3 inches of the tank, is just too much for anything other than like a hard stony coral. Even this brain coral, like he's not fully open because the water flow is just enough to kind of PO him off a little bit. With that said, I've been messing with the random flow generators all morning. So if you look over here, I've actually got my random flow generator nozzles, so like 90-degree adapters that lower them into the water. I actually took them off to see if that helps. I tried rotating those around. Nothing seems to help with the water flow. It just seems like this pump is too strong. This is the Hydor Cells D pump, the smallest one they make. It's not that the pump is too much. I mean, the pump on level 1 really does push a lot of water. Like if we go down here, maybe we can focus on it. Like that's level 1. That's the lowest level, and it really does push water. You can see the like flicker of the Kessel there, like the shimmer. However, with soft corals like this, it is just too much water flow, and unfortunately, those random flow generator nozzles just don't have enough, movability to rotate in a way that isn't going to be pushing water down on one of these corals too hardly, or too harshly. So I'm thinking what we do is we take all these rocks. I love this Rockscape, but we take all these rocks and we put them all in the center. And then we point both those random flow generators towards the front center of the tank, and then the water will crash onto the rock structure. And we can even make the rock structure kind of like a V, like going in and out. And then that way all the water will go through the rocks. And that'll actually help the rocks become a natural filter for the aquarium, because a lot of the live bacteria is on those rocks. So a lot of the live bacteria being on those rocks means that more water being pushed through the rocks is going to mean that the water flow is not only broken up, but we can also turn the pump higher potentially, get more water flow through those rocks, and get more filtration out of that. That also means that our LPS corals can go around the rim of the tank and hopefully have very little flow all around the rim of the tank, so we can have lots of our LPS large polyp stony corals in here that are real soft and fleshy, like our brains here. And that will make me really happy because you can see that LPS are my primary focus. I mean, I've got an open brain here. This is a new addition to the channel. We'll talk more about him in a future video probably. We got an open brain there, open brain here. Got a Signorina in the back. And then we got a meat coral even, all the way in the very back. Love the little meat coral. He's super, super cool. He's really tiny though, so I'm hoping he grows up. So yeah, let's get to changing this Rockscape, guys. So I'm going to have to wait a while for the aquarium to clear, but we have completely rearranged the Rockscape. All the rocks are in the center now, and so I've taken those random flow generator nozzles and I actually have put on the extenders, so you can kind of see them in there. I should have taken a video before I put the lid on. There you go, there's one of the extenders. You can see it's like a 90 degrees right here. And it basically moves this random flow generator nozzle about an inch to the left. So both of these are 1 inch closer on the center. So they normally would be like right here and like right here, but instead they're 1 inch over. And having 1 extra inch on each of those actually makes a huge difference, because now you can see that the two pumps are really close to the center of the tank, and effectively what they're doing is they're pushing the air up here. You can actually see, or the air. Effectively what these two random flow generator nozzles are doing, they're pushing the water up here to the front of the tank. You can actually see where it's almost overflowing. Actually, I almost put too much water in there. That's a little risky actually. So I might take like just a quarter gallon out of here. But they're pushing all that water right up into the center of the tank, so right in here, and it's effectively going to kind of push up against our candy cane, our hammer, and our Duncan, which all really like high flow. And they, grab food out of the water column and stuff like that, so that'll benefit them. And then our hard stony corals, like this encrusting Montipora, are getting lots of light and lots of water flow, so that will really help that. And then some of the water, it looks like maybe like 10% of it is kind of like breaking and going over here on the ends. So you can see our little dude is actually, he's a little better. He's a little pushed from the water flow just a little bit, so we'll see how that handles. And even our Sinorina here is a little bit of like cup shape, which does happen from time to time, so I'm not necessarily sure if that's from water flow. But you can see over here, these two brain corals are looking really good. They have a little bit of water flow on them, but not a lot. You can see this one back here, the newest one, really looks like it has just enough flow on it. So that's actually really nice. So seems like the water is really being broken up on the left side. That means I may even have to turn that right random flow generator nozzle to this side just a little bit more to kind of break up, because I think it's giving just a little bit too much flow on this end. But let's let the tank clear. Let's let this settle for a little bit and see how this looks here in 10 or 20 minutes. Would be nice if we had like one rock right here, wouldn't it? But that leather coral in the center would probably get murdered. There's like a little tree leather right there that I'd have to cut out. That might be something we do eventually, we'll see. Alright, so I took the random flow generator nozzles out, and here you can see a better view of my little like right angle brackets I was using. Well, I guess they're not quite right angle, they're like 45 degree. Anyways, I should have thought about this more before I did this video, because I went ahead and realized that maybe those nozzles are generating too much flow by shooting the water flow out too strongly. Because if you look at these, they're a very narrow outlet there. It's like maybe less than a quarter inch. It's like an eighth of an inch hole. So the water gets shot out very forcefully. On tanks like our peninsula tanks, this works great because it projects the water flow all the way to the end of the peninsula tank. But you got to think, that's like double the length of my Innovative Marine Fusion Lagoon. So going back to the Fusion Lagoon, I mean, it's half the length, and those nozzles are hitting this front wall. The water flow is going down and dispersing amongst the sand bed, which is really messing with all the LPS. So I went ahead. Oh, look, now he's acting all dramatic. Like 2 minutes ago, he was completely like flat, and I was like, oh, perfect. now he's making a liar out of me. Kids always do that, don't they? Anyways, now I've went ahead, you can't even see, went ahead and put the original nozzles in there. So those are, you can kind of see them. They're like a fan style, so they're like real wide. They're like 2 inches wide, maybe 1.5 inches wide. There we go. So I put those original nozzles back in there. Really glad I kept those because I've almost thrown them out a couple times. But put them back in there, and they're really diffusing the flow really, really well. So if you look, the Duncans now are getting just, gently blasted, where before they were like kind of getting pushed a little bit too hard. This guy is maybe getting just a tiny bit of flow, and I need to kind of consider if the meat coral next to him is going to be bad, because I know the meat coral's got some tentacles on it. They're not sweeper tentacles, but they are like maybe like 1/2 inch long, and he can also get like huge at night when he's like feeding. Like sometimes he'll swell up to be like quadruple this size, so he might get close to the meat coral, so I might have to move him. But the other brain corals are absolutely loving the flow, so pretty happy that this has worked out. And the reason I came up with this idea is I was looking at the Innovative Marine Fusion Lagoon 25-gallon Pro model, which comes with Innovative Marine's DC pump, which is stronger than my DC pump. My DC pump is 500 gallon per hour. The Innovative Marine one, I think, is like 538 or 550 or something like that. So I was like, how are they getting away with a stronger DC pump than mine without like blasting all their corals in their tank? Because my pump is on level 1 out of 5, which means it's probably running at like 150 gallon per hour or something like that at most. I mean, it's like really, really gentle. Like if you put your hand in there, you can like just barely feel the water. It's just enough to get like water flow around the tank. So I realized though they were using the original nozzles that come with the Innovative Marine that fan out the flow. So now I might even be able to kick this up to level 2, depending on how this guy in the bottom right handles it, or if I move him, I could probably kick it up to level 2. I could even maybe swap this one and that one, because this one is a little more durable than this guy here. And that might solve the problem. But we'll see. So far, so good. We're going to let the tank continue to clear up a little bit, and then I'll do just a last minute update here. Alright everybody, I went ahead and rearranged the aquarium again. This time we've got the little coral frag plugs in the back that are growing out, which is our chalices, and I think a stylophore or something like that. We've got our little red brain here that we just recently got. We've got our Duncans over here, candy cane coral, the green Montipora, the encrusting Montipora, the gold hammer is back there, and then I put the bloodsucker Zoa here at the top so he can go ahead and get that light that he's been stretching for so much. I've got the meat coral, the Acanthophilia, right here. And then I've got the Trichophilia here, and the, quote unquote Wilsophilia, but it's, it's Trichophilia up there on the rocks. And I'm trying something different. This specific trachea was on a, base at the aquarium, like a pipe. And he was like 2 inches off the ground, and he was like super open and just kind of like overflowing around the pipe itself. So I put him up on the rocks to see if he liked it, and so far I don't think he is too fond of it. I don't know. He's not his skin's not necessarily pinched under the rock, but I think he just isn't used to it yet. We've got some other frags of the green encrusting Montipora down here that are growing out. We've got the Sinarina coral, which is getting blasted a little bit by the flow. It's getting pushed up a little bit, so I might have to figure that one out. Normally that one resists the flow really well, so I might just have to tip it closer to us type of thing, so it the flow hits it and disperses rather than trying to lift it up off the ground. And then we just have the acan corals back here in the very back, and they're on another little frag plug together, and hopefully they'll survive. They're doing okay. I think they've got a little bit of tissue damage from when they were fragged initially, but so far this is, I think, what we're going with. Hopefully I stick with this. I don't know, I don't know. I mean, I do like how we have a little bit of space at the top. If we were ever to get an acro, we could put it where the bloodsucker is and let it grow out. Or even the next step down for it here on the right side, we could put one there. That'd be interesting. And I kind of I guess the only one I don't really like so far is I don't really like this brain coral being on this rock. I might have to kind of set it down over here, maybe where the meat coral is or something, and move the meat coral. I don't know. Maybe the meat coral could go where the Duncan is, and the Duncan could go up there on that little ledge. That could be a possibility. We might consider that.